Lam Rim Text Kasa Givishi and you come now go share that Casore Delia and Jegum Jejane, Givishi, come now go Shirwa, just like Jegum Jetan and Chevarelana, Tagaji Givishi, Kusung to you, Yendenti, and Jehada, and Givishi, Tembaina, Panyun Yobata, my Tembaina, and a social Gyonra Yoba, then a Jeva Cheta, then a Givi Shin, Kusung to you, Yendenti, Partenche, Deva Chaya. And Jike Sosura Chu, Lemons and Chu was and socially Chinchim Boris, getting Chimbo, getting Lami, getting Janche, Lamayala, and the Dequick, and Gubekia, and Dick Kissing Dick or Shuru.
Good evening. So last week we continued to look at the presentation on the section of the Lam Rim, which is how to rely on a spiritual teacher. And so we looked last week at the need to utilize analytical meditation in this context. And what is the object that one would be meditating on? Well, one would first meditate firstly on the qualities of one's teacher's physical activities, his verbal activities, as well as his mind. And we'd also reflect on the kindness of one's teacher. So these are two of the four topics that one would meditate on utilizing analytical meditation. The second two would be the benefits of relying on a teacher and the faults that would come, or the missed opportunities perhaps that would come if one does not rely on a teacher. So this in brief is what we looked at previously.
That in Mamudi Chipare, that chicken that Jegum Yukoshi or what it is at the Alami, the Yundenda, and the Deniki getting getting to Sushin and Shuare.
We'll be continuing in the text tonight, really in the same vein as we've been looking at thus far, the topics through which or on which one should engage in analytical meditation in relation to the qualities and kindness of one's teacher.
Loba Lamji Negavlia, and Givishin, Dena Korea, and Kusong to Chike, and Chike Ningur Shuare, and then Deva Chayare, Ondusine, Chevupiare, Lamelia, Ondusine, Jawan, Hajing Arzini, Dalam, Dembasan Jumnendiki, Chen Yamden Chike, Jinju, Yinza, that Dembasan Jumnen, Korong, Ganis now on Hashing Yamden Ganis now on Hashing, Manzua Dinashi, Chiche, such kissing Denishuru.
Last week we also looked at the being that was to become Buddha Shakyamuni as an example to emulate. So the presentation last week showed how the being that was to become Buddha Shakyamuni relied on a teacher, and the extent that he went to come to create a Dharma connection with the teacher in order to receive teachings. And through this process, he attained the exalted state of enlightenment. And then he recounted those stories of his life, of previous lives, so as to serve as an example to his students. So therefore, we looked at last week at some of those illustrations that we should take inspiration from and try and emulate.
Getting red, some kurche, and then Demin, Chia Mizivi car, me, Chuen, yes, and a par Gemba Jepa took the S, Deni Mago Shindu, Deni Mago Shindu Chewa Yinse.
Now we pay 11th page, first full paragraph at the top. Some people think that a teacher should be revered only if he has many obvious qualities. They say, I go to him to hear his words on Dharma, not to see him. And I can see no great traits in him, so there is no need for reverence. What fools!
너나 가르치고 그러시네. 나로 저기 남말이야 직 저기 나로 낭출이야 직디 낭출이야 라마카시 아니 연대 직계라 첨부 다 아는 천년 첨부 이게 라마로 신 안델이야 아니 라마 인세 그린 첨부에서 지야다. 야소서 라마 이말한 지게 진한도 낭출이야 은 지게 천 토보다 아니 계라 첨부시라 메디게 되게 지게 연된 첨부라 메비게 남바로 땡에 라마로 신나 온델이야 아니 제가 지게 지도 맞지와치 엔 되는 맞지와 마세 안델이야 아니 오당이 경화전의 최년가 리뷰다스 등이 경화전의 최유의 최년가 연구에서 파 지게 내인간도 연구에서 파진 지 캠바시아다 되는 연구를 되는 제발나 디고 남의电脑过来今年这个那他的马新越大的是的拿出全部来说的。
So this first couple of sentences serve to as a warning to guard us against making a grave error, because if a particular teacher appears to our mind, appears to us as having great qualities and great knowledge, then we are naturally more inclined to easily develop confidence in them. Whereas other teachers appear to our mind as if without the way they appear to our mind is without a very manifest display of great qualities or great knowledge. And then one can make the grave error of saying, oh, I will receive teachings from them, but I'm not going there with any particular respectful attitude.
지난번에 가르친 거로서는 다 소식이 라마 한지기 라마 가시 주요가 있는다. 라마야 천년다 채워당 안에 되는게 나줄이야 지게 지구 연대 채워로 나수는 예들이야 야가지야다. 안에 소식 라마 현다 천년다 시라메디겐 안에 지 아니 연대 유비가 추루 넘버 시라마딩 라마랴 시라마츠와체네 아니 디고 말 지바 야 지야랴 라니가 당어도 라마 땡체유제 라마디게 차상 아니 연대 상기 공무에 메두셰샤지 차상랴 데고 지바 치고래 저거다나라
카레치고 디직
대바다 그베 찌래 대바 쳐와 찌리 대바 시라메바 디니시게 말 대바 지바 치고래 대바다 그베 지바 치고래 제래.
What this is referring to is that amongst the various teachers from whom we receive teachings, some will appear to our minds as having greater qualities or greater knowledge. And others, they will appear as having less qualities or less knowledge. And then it's quite likely that based on just how they appear to us, we relate to them very differently. With the one, we would much more easily give rise to faith and respect, and the other, quite possibly not. So here we're being encouraged to rather consider them as the same, and not to be fooled into thinking that just based on how they appear to my mind, the one is more suitable for faith and trust than the other is. Rather, we should consider them in the same way. And the rest of this paragraph, for instance, even if your parents have no good qualities, you should appreciate their kindness. For by doing so, great benefits arise, whereas by not appreciating them, only pain and confusion result. The same holds true of your attitude towards your spiritual mentor.
지연된 밤에 연된 시라 매바나야 가르선 파말이야 지구를 제 우도 왔어 이게 제거바디 김자 가르라나 밤에 연된 매나야 파마디게 소솔이야 안지게 송겹제다 소솔에 제와체다 소솔에 칼라다 소솔 송겹 차상 밤에 깨진 딘 첨부 지불 진지기로 저서 되네 진제반자 내려 지불 치고로 되네 맞아봐이나 파마 연대 야보 쉬어봐이나 내려 안에 증이 파마래서 하다 지키고가 되어하다다 파마 연대 시라 매바시나 아니 소설 야베 야보 끝인 첨부 휴제베네 어디든 시라 되어하다다 맞아 제바이나 딘도 추리스 저서 되네 인자 소설 getting down the Pamatelia and Susulia and the Chig Yajin Penyon Jin Mahubaina and the Divachim Bungur was Dinajin Chibor was Lama Indian Chembu Indian Chembu Nada Chanyara Chembu Javainada, the Lama Chanyana Shara Medic Indian Shara Chik Chembu maybe announced the Dinishavanada, Ganjele Lama Di Anzulia, Susulia Tipupoyata. Giving Yamlenchia de Lagores, Chizanganzo Kova de Lia Tayada, Dunga Sea de Tablam Dingor, Chiza, Diniza, Susule Chinchibore, Tinza, Lamalia, Chiki, Geta Yumel, Madibi, Susu Lamatilla, and Chibat, and a Degushia, the Chibacha.
So here the author is making a comparison between the way that we would relate to our parents, as well as therefore how we should relate to our parents, the way that we relate to our parents, and therefore how we should relate to our teachers. Because it would be quite bizarre if one's parents were not particularly renowned or had great qualities in the world, and therefore one disrespected them, didn't consider them as kind and precious towards oneself, but rather considered parents of others who had a great renown and qualities in the world, that they were more worthy of respect. So in the same way that would be really bizarre, because both sets of parents care for their children similarly. They ensure that their children are protected from harm, are fed nutritious food, kept safe, and are educated, and the parents try to give them the best opportunities possible in this life, whether those parents have renown or show great qualities or not. So similarly with one's spiritual teachers, no matter how they appear to your mind, or the renown that they may have, or how evident their good qualities and kindness is, one should appreciate them similarly. One should not differentiate between one being kinder than the other or greater than the other, but see one's teachers as all being particularly kind to oneself and having great qualities.
Lam Rim Gomgu yes, Tangas Lam Rim Yamlin Chigi City, Lam Rim Gomdu, Ganis Congo, Labna, Nambo Horong, Comia de Langanzuki, that Comia Kosudi, Kivishin, Getsawa, Kivishin to the Comiaroa. Cesar Dene Zankising on the Dambo Shuba Nashinda, Dambo Lam Rim Gom Yamlin Chidi, Ganis Congo, Labna, Dambo Yaha, Kamba Church, Zama Suedima, Kamba Chidurche, and Zama Sue, and Chiki Yao. The Tian Jamia Tigima, and a DJ and the Tam Savicella, and then Yawotin, Delia, Anzo Duce, and a Chiku Sukuya Wachi, Lunamna, Chudin, the Denegi Duce, and then Kuno Chia, the Jamdo Chair, the Kuno Jamdo Chair, and the same Chia Chanjusim, Kunelo, Kuno, and Chanjusim, Kunela, the Jamdo, the same Chia, Chikima. Nearly Dimashi, Shimbarus, Masona, Mazuki, Lam Rim Yamlin Chetan to quote on what did is Wada.
So just now I think it's maybe suitable to remind ourselves of where we are in the text. So in the subject of the topic of how to rely on the spiritual teacher, which is the first major section within how to meditate or train oneself in the Lam Rim tradition. And prior to this, we established the preliminaries to engaging in the meditation on the topics of the Lam Rim, of which this is the first. So you'll recall of the preliminaries. The first was to prepare your meditation space, so to clean your room, to arrange your shrine, to arrange your meditation cushion or chair, and then to cultivate a motivation of refuge and bodhicitta.
Jamdo Simye, Jedinicuno, Janju Simye, Gyatso, Jela, and Garjawasanazo, Sosa, Horizon, Sosa, Soshin Sata Yadimba, Soshin Sata. Then the Soshin Sata with Jela, and then Soshin Ladikela, Kutu Suada, and Kushu Suadimba, Kushu Suadimba, Kushu Suasane, 아니 야 아니 냐마기 슈스데레가 슈체네 아니 가르쳐버렸으네 사장 제야디마 사장 딕바 자에 가서 개와 쌓아야단 디브자니디 디르와데.
And you recall that having generated motivation of refuge and bodhicitta, then in order to accumulate virtue and purify negativities, in order to ensure that our meditations are successful and we are successful in transforming our minds, we then visualize a merit field, a field of merit upon which we will accumulate virtue and purify negativities. So we've generated our motivation, we generate the visualization as was presented previously, and then we engage in acts of accumulating virtue, such as making a bath offering, as well as engaging in acts of purification.
Nidelia Sajan Chidu Kabla Yala Dunju Kone Sajan Chiadima Dambo Cha Tsewache, and the Chebo Pua, Gewalachi Suiran Chea, and the Gasori Dipashaya, Cha Tsawa, Chebo Pua, Dipashapa, and the Gewalachi Suiran Chea, and the Chukolo Gordo Sora Sadin, and Chukulo Gura. Then the Yangale Midawa Shusu Sora Sadi, and the Soa Deba. Then the Digelia, Gehonga, the Gehonga Jadi, the Rimbachik Ticharwa.
And you recall that this process of accumulating virtue and purifying negativities in relation to the merit field was done through the 7 limb prayer, of which the first was the limb or the branch of prostration, the second offerings, the third was confession, then it was rejoicing, and then fifthly was requesting the wheel of Dharma to be turned, and sixthly was requesting the teachers to remain, and then finally the dedication of merit. So that was the 7 limb prayer, the process for accumulation and purification.
Dadi Lam Rim Gedu Chen Samdayadi Givi Shiningi Gomyalia and Jingondro Chis.
So this was the introduction, the preliminary to the meditation on the topics of the Lam Rim, which starts with that of relying on a spiritual teacher.
Sesada denegi dit komsewe chela manzo gewi shinya komgure serwa da lama komgure larwa da jizang gewi shin deso komgure la de delia an gan komgure la na an nga zugi di lama tempi ke lama temba ina sosolya phando yo phanyo yo ba phanyo ke lami tempi phanyo samta lama ma temba ina nyemi samta aseji da sector di roche ne dirwa kisinga zu di shu sare lama tempi tenna phanyo yo ba da ma temba ina sosolya gyong ra yo ba ondu samta.
So those were the preliminaries to the Lam Rim meditation, and then one comes to the first main topic, that of relying on a spiritual teacher. So now, having generated refuge and bodhicitta and accumulated merit and purified negativities so as to create the causes that one's meditation can be effective and transformative, one starts to meditate on the first topic, that of relying on a spiritual teacher. And as we looked at in the previous weeks, one starts with reflecting on the benefits of relying on a spiritual teacher and the faults that will follow from not doing so.
Lama tena panyo siadi, lama temba ina, soso le lama zane yuande xingyu yo ba tang yuande chaya. Tena yuande xingba ina nga zu yuande dike ya, nga zu kiwi samlo dike janshu sem gongda, tongyu go gomda, ane mitaba gomda, shasang xing jine, teni gomba le ya zhuane, soso le ya, ane nyamne ya cheche zhudu tokwa gombe zhugo, di panyo rwa. Chisa lama matimbe yimik siadi, gyuen karo yosa, lama matimba ina, tene nga zu lama zane che shugo mara, che ma shugo na, tan che nyamne chidan xingo mara, ma xingba na soso gyong. Chisa tene yinza, du chine, an dade bado nga zu ki, chike sanji diki, janshu sema mangpo lama tenchi nyamne chide ya sanji kuma towa de, dade nga zu, dade bado koro tuwa lama yabu ma tenpa dan, lama ma tenpa dan, lama nyeba na yabu ma tenpi kenchi, lami kenchi nga zu ya, na karso tarba tamche kibo koban top tuyo mares chesna noju dine junsha sam dine samta di jegom se urwada jegom se du sinem ngado samata lama tembi ki phayon dine du ma temba ine yong dine ragi du sim du simju che di ngado jegom se urwa du sene samta di da lama kewi shin tembi ki nyamlen che da chigreda.
then it comes to meditate on the benefits of relying on a teacher, so what are the benefits? So just to repeat what we looked at in previous weeks in brief, is that through relying on a teacher, one will come to understand the Dharma well. And what does that mean? One will understand the causes of suffering and the solution to suffering, how to abandon suffering. One will understand what the causes for happiness are and how to accumulate those. So one will understand, in other words, what minds need to be reduced in strength and eventually eliminated, and how to do so, and what minds need to be cultivated eventually to the state of perfection, and how to do so. And another way to express this, one will understand the various topics of the Dharma, such as impermanence and refuge, bodhicitta, definite emergence, the wisdom realizing emptiness on the correct view. So these are the benefits of relying on a teacher. One will come to understand the Dharma well. The faults of not relying on a teacher is one will not understand the Dharma well. One will not be able to progress beyond a superficial understanding. And this is because one will not be guided or led in one's spiritual development. So those, in brief, are the benefits and the faults. And the way that one reflects on it, in the way that's just been very briefly described, that is a style of meditation called analytical meditation, where one engages in a thinking process, where one investigates and comes to see whether this presentation makes sense or not, and investigates in ever finer detail. So the presentation is quite broad, but if one engages in analytical meditation repeatedly, through that experience, one's meditation will go down to finer and finer levels. And then moreover, in this meditation one also reminds oneself that the technique of relying on a spiritual friend rather than going it alone is something that has been developed to perfection by all the Buddhas and is being done right now by all the Bodhisattvas in the world. So these great beings, these incomparable beings, are training in this way. And for us who aspire to enter the Bodhisattva path and be guided to the state of perfection, the state of enlightenment, should train in the same way as they are.
Deja control Ngajama Comshita, the Nigno Mombo Yovenza, Maranzu, Kin Toyadi, Lela Shuchi Tonto Wore. Yundan Toyadi, Toyalia, Kaleka Shangura, just some Mongo, the Shimju Mongojin, Yunda Toya Kaleka, Yun Tony Lavare. The Ninzang, the Niba some Kartan was in it, Lamigi, Lamalia, Gun, Denis Dusabi, Gun Tomi Lodi. Some of the Guinea Tang me, Skun Toy Lodi, Nam Gun Tag Lodi Guinea Kichu me, some big some dietary.
Then the analytical meditation on how to rely on a spiritual teacher progresses to a second step. And here one reminds ourselves that things do not exist in the way that they appear to us. And in this context, the way one approaches this is to remind ourselves that due to the strength or dependence on the strength of our own afflicted mind, such as attachment and anger and pride and jealousy, due to being so dominated by these afflicted minds, the faults in others readily appear to our mind. It's very easy for us to see faults in others. It's a lot harder for the qualities in others to naturally arise within our mind. But their faults, those readily appear. And that comes about in dependence on our mind being so habituated to the afflictions. These afflictions dominate us so. And this is the case in our everyday encounters, and it's certainly the case with how we observe our spiritual teacher. So reminding ourselves of this, we make the commitment in this meditation to remain mindful of this, and thereby not to be deceived when the faults of others, in this case our spiritual friend, arise or appear to us. But when they do, when the faults of our teacher appear to us or arise in our mind, to remind ourselves that the way objects appear is not how they exist, and the faults of others readily arise in our minds because of the strength and our habituation to our afflictions.
Lamegi kusung tu sum yu yuanden deke ya du chen lameli yuanden pa da chen dene lamegi yuanden kusung tu yu yuanden yuanden den da dene yuanden da ne lamalya deba chaya dire.
And the analytical meditation progresses to a third step. But so before we get to the third step, so that second step, this is what we're cultivating here, is a mind of restraint, a mind that is subdued. No, sorry, not subdued, a mind of restraint. So here we are intentionally cultivating a mind of restraint. In other words, we refrain from following our habitual way of thinking, which is to believe in the negative appearances that arise so very easily to us. So that's the second step. Then the third step is we reflect on the many good qualities of our teacher, such as the quality of ethics, the quality of wisdom, the quality of concentration. Well, this can be looked at in another way, the qualities of his physical qualities, his qualities of physical behavior, his qualities of speech, and his mental qualities. And the purpose then of training in this third step is to generate faith and trust in one's teacher. So here we are in this third step, cultivating the mind or training in the mind of faith.
지게 뉴 줘야다 안 소소리야 안 세딜이네 판도 용마다 세체마이네 아니 지금 디기 주비에게 딜라메기 베 데네기 취나 게딘 침보이 섬제 라말이야 게딘 제제 데니 게딘 제야 딜라메 게딘 제야 돼.
Then the fourth step of the meditation. In this step we then remind ourselves of the kindness of the teacher and we reflect on the kindness of our teacher. So this is the fourth step, also an analytical meditation. And when we reflect on the kindness, this mostly will refer to him teaching the Dharma to us. Because it's only through him teaching us, guiding us in how to cultivate virtuous minds within ourselves, how to train our own minds, that we can learn skillful ways to cultivate virtue, to purify negativities. And in this way, to cultivate ever greater causes of happiness for our future lives, and to eliminate the causes that would otherwise result in suffering. And it's only through the kindness of our teacher's virtuous activities that we are able to ensure that future rebirths go well, and that we can spiritually progress from life to life, developing ever greater qualities within ourselves. So this fourth step of meditation is to reflect on the kindness of one's teacher.
Timbi Pei Je Ma Timbi Nimi Samda, Dene Lamagilia, and the Chikyendo Uniki Mesembe Tamjasha, Dene Lami Kusung to Yende Deva Chang, Dene Lamigi Sosalia, getting Jashava, getting Chimbutendu, Tene, Lucidu, and Sonam Sasha, Sonam Sago, what a Gawasago, the Nigger Sonam de, and then Moja, some Tamadilinga Vatilia, and Gawa Sasha by the Gawadia, and the Simja Tamjigu Dundu, and Moja, Simja Tamji San Yoko to be Guru Shosada, Simja Tamja, and Digi Dungada, and the Digi Temple shows, Monamja, Tikazi Moja.
Before then coming to the fifth and final step of this meditation, let's review these four briefly. So the first was to reflect on the benefits of relying on a teacher and the faults that will follow from, or the loss that will follow from not doing so. Then secondly, was to remind ourselves that due to our strong habituation to afflicted minds. The faults of others readily arise in our mind. Then they're good qualities, those we don't see so easily. And this is certainly the case in the world, and therefore it's also the case with our teacher. Then thirdly, reflect on the teacher's good qualities, and such as ethics, wisdom, concentration. And then fourthly, recall his kindness in particular through him guiding us, teaching us. We're cultivating the causes for lasting happiness. We're cultivating the causes to live an ever more meaningful life. So these are the four analytical steps of this meditation, and now the fifth and final step is during this meditation we've accumulated vast stores of merit. Now we come to dedicate this merit that we've accumulated. And in brief, we dedicate this virtue to the welfare of all sentient beings. May all sentient beings come under the care of a fully qualified Mahayana spiritual friend, and thereby be guided and attain or develop their own individual enlightenment. So this is the fifth step, that of dedication.
Lam Rim Text, Geshe Thubten Rabten, Gyatso, da gomna dire, di gomya de, tunshi, ane tunshi gomya, tunshi 참들이 tunshi gomse yorwa, tunshi gomya, 제가 내내기 기회신 덴바이나 편여 마덴베 예미 삼다 데네 라마라이 견도세 견네 기주메 선배게 domsem차 데네 라미 구송토기 연된 제제 라마라이 대바장 데네 라미게 랑레 진치 뭐 선배 게딘제 모두 전에 다 쇼게 저기 지게 토랑래야 도시 쇼고 야랑 kom야나 아 데네 마드제 소시쇼가 다시 쇼서 사와데 데네 냐 마 대지하고 되는 영웅 잡로 거미하다 되는 공다 거미하다 되는 튼시시는 거미하디 제가 람림 검사 되는 튼시 라말야 대밭 배제지도 되는 검제 라미기 천퇴어다 라미 구바제다 라미 천퇴어다 야 셈려 대바시 우게제 미글야 미추 코야다 로다 신 되는 대바 맞게 봐도 안 가지게 누스네 공고를 스티고미아 들려 안 가실미 다와지 고미아다 다와니 숨고야다 로지 고미아다 근데 용구와 지상 네 많이 용구래 소수기 곰안 로제 로다 직바 소수 니벌 바페기 가시에다 고미냠는 되게 안 요가야다 되는 용구라 지상 되는 라말에 대바 야보제리 게 된다라 되는 람림 고미오데 아니 딱 기위신 담보 기위신이 겁나 고주고라 되네 고주요데 되네 기위신이 겁나들야 대시 두스는 가서 제바제제 아니 두스네 제공요 돈도 제바제제 되냐 두스네 안 다와직 다와니 숨 안로 공부하는데 용거를 제가 되네서 디 겁나들에 다 같이 람림 돈에 기위신이 된수 공부에 세대에 간스 공부에 공고를 람나 라미기 팀베 파연다 마팀베 예믹 삼다야다 데네 라말야 균 제데 균에 딱이메 데네 따네 자오긴 기주 메스메 삼다야다 데네 라미 구송투 연된 자 제제 라말레 대바제야다 대바자야 데네 라미기 소소레 최소는 뺏게진 침보임바 망보 삼 김진 망보 삼단 라마데라 진침보임바 삼 고미야데 디레다 기위신 된수 검세 디레다 두 딜로 자야래가 데닐로 장제 되는 거야튼 삼주디 개와도 모아자로와 돈나디래
The Lam Rim tradition, or the tradition in the graduated stages to the attainment of enlightenment. So this tradition can be understood as, or any text in this tradition can be understood as a meditation manual, and it would be correct to think of it as in such ways. So the text we have here is correct to relate to it as a meditation manual. So the very first part of any meditation session would be the preliminaries, and so those we looked at previously, and we mentioned them briefly tonight. And then one engages in the actual practice, or the main body of the meditation. And within the various meditations in the Lam Rim, the first main topic is that of how to relying on a spiritual teacher. And that's the section that we're in right now. We've been in for, I think this is the third week. So if someone is engaging in a Lam Rim retreat, then they would meditate on all or some of these topics. So let's say if someone's in a meditation retreat on relying on a spiritual teacher, so they would have several sessions, perhaps 4, and they'd have one when they wake up in the morning, and they would have another later in the morning after they've had breakfast and before lunch, and then one in the afternoon and one at night. So that's one way that a retreat could be done. But however many sessions one has, what we're hearing about here is how to meditate on this first major topic. So we've covered the preliminaries, and then there are these five steps of the meditation, with the first being to reflect on the benefits of relying on a teacher and of the loss that will follow if one doesn't. And then the second step that one meditates on is to remind ourselves of that due to our habituation to the afflictions, that how things appear to us is not how they exist, and in fact, the faults of others readily appear to us, but their good qualities don't. And that then leads us to develop a mind of restraint, a mind where we remain mindful that when such appearances arise, not to be deceived by them, but to rather use our wisdom. The third step of the meditation is to reflect on the good qualities of our teacher, and the fourth is to reflect on his kindness, and the kindness in particular of his guiding us, his training us in how to cultivate the minds of the Dharma within us, and thereby create the causes for lasting, stable happiness. And then the fifth step was dedication. So these 5 steps then can be done in each of the meditation sessions, and some, depending on their prior familiarity with the topic as well as their meditation skill, may engage in this such a retreat for a month. Some may need to engage in it for several months, some may be a year, and then they would see signs of the success of their meditation, such as just merely calling to mind their teacher or seeing a photo of their teacher would lead to great joy arising with them, and perhaps even tears rolling down their cheeks. So these would be signs of the success of the meditation that has come through cultivating their mind skillfully, developing strong and stable faith in their teacher, through reflecting primarily on his many good qualities and his great kindness.
Dene njelia an chikila mi kusung tu yenden dige pa yenden samda dene gi dambo du jeba chigro yenden dene du sia dene jeba chen dene deba chang deba ke dan deba delia deba chang chen deba ke chen ya deba delia zichi du ne chang sem shanda ka ya samma ta ba che lama le deba ke che deba khorong ke che zichi du sha che du chen ding ye deba rang le samda che shen number namye ma ya wa che deba le zichi du samtang kombayina ko delia ane tingi chen du bo ro tingi chen nyum du re an din ha shin da din de deba chang serve chel deba de kom di jel ya ya lama ge so so ya che sung pe ke din chim me din tan lama de din chim bo re sne din je re sm delia lama ke din je delia ke din dembe demba delia ane sem ma ya delia je chi du ne che kom du je ben na je sang ma ju ge 다오 지금나 로지금나 야네 야도 야게 초네 레레야 안에 지게 라미기 템베 파연 마템베 예미 달라말야 안에 지게 데니기 균다에 삼바도 균기메 삼바삼야다다 구송투여 연된데 델라 데바지도 삼다도 전에 안 데바도 검체 제지도 내야 데나 라미 끼딘 덴제 델야 안 라미기 딘침보레 스네 끼딘 템베 잠바 델야 덴제 바제지도 네되되 두 전에 안 아주 튼실이야 두스코라게 야네야도 야네야도 공부리지 지사 데네 공바이나 덴 니발로리아 레바르데 니바 차셔로 그래서 데네 멤버체 아니 직 라마 공부였으니 아직 지금 곧 한산다 지금 전년 지리야 셴버 삼다고 소단 지리야 셴버 삼다고 봐는 로디 장도 티투 말이야 이게 누구 말이야 제래 제가 신의 공부할래네 유대라 제주도 니에체 야네 야도 디공고로 되네 공반데 띵이진 땐ten주고로 뉴버체주고로 아네 당보지 현다질 삼다고 되네 니버금데 현다질 삼다고 바나 되고 카질에 템부 차두고 말에 되네 인자 만게 위신인 땡수 곰두qabla 곰나들라 안두스네 간조 마조 삼다마고 바체 안두스 림바디 림바도 직체 림바디 파도 제 야네 야도 초대레레ля 튠슈고메 튠레레레ля 디랑 튠 당보들라 간스 곰바나신제네 곰젠 디야냐 곰고레제레 데네 곰요데 데네 콜로디 띵이진데 템템템데 로로 와다가질레 띵이 템템 로데 데네 콜로디 뉴바체시 로도 고레제레.
So these the 5 steps to this meditation, this should be quite clear, as well as the preliminaries to the meditation. And so these five steps, so we hear, well, especially the first 4, one engages in analytical meditation. So you've heard that there are 2 types. You've heard previously that there are 2 types of meditation, of which analytical is one, and the second is placement meditation. Ideally, or to do this, to be particularly skillful in how one meditates, one should engage in both analytical meditation and then follow that by placement meditation. So if one's topic of meditation is cultivating the mind of Guru devotion, or the mind of relying on one's teacher, then that is a practice of analytical meditation. So we've heard the 5 steps, and each step, such as meditating on the benefits, one is analyzing, one is thinking. And meditating on the qualities of the teacher, again, one is analyzing, so one's mind is actively investigating. These are the qualities he has, due to these qualities some great benefit comes, etc. So this is all that has been described thus far is analytical meditation. But to be really skillful, this should be combined at each stage with placement meditation. So placement meditation is the type of meditation where one cultivates single-pointed concentration. So the way that one cultivates these sequentially is that at each of these 5 steps, one engages in analytical meditation, and when one generates a small R realization, or maybe you can say a strong feeling for the topic. So with the first step, you're meditating on the benefits of relying on the teacher, and then a feeling of that the great benefits of relying on a teacher arises within oneself. Then, at that point, it's appropriate, it's skillful to stop one's analytical meditation and now engage in placement meditation by holding that mind single-pointedly. And then, when one gets distracted and loses it, one can either regenerate that same mind again through doing that same analytical meditation. When you come to a result and you get a feeling for the great benefits of relying on a teacher, then once again, one holds it single-pointedly. And then when one's ready, one moves on to the next step, the second step, which was to remind ourselves that how easily faults appear to our mind, and how the qualities of others, especially including our teacher, don't readily arise, and we engage in analytical meditation, and we get a feeling for this, hold it single-pointedly. And when we get distracted and we lose it, again, we can either go through that analytical process again and regenerate that mind and hold it single-pointedly, or move to the third step. So in this way, if one engages in these 5 steps and always first doing analytical meditation and then placement meditation, this is a very skillful way to develop both the mind of Guru devotion as well as strengthening one's concentration. So you've heard it mentioned many times that for one's mind to be transformed, one needs to engage in meditation on the basis of knowledge repeatedly over a sustained period. So again, this needs to be emphasized here. Because if one wants to transform one's mind, and in this context we're talking about developing a realization of Guru devotion as well as developing a concentrated mind, then one needs to engage in this meditation repeatedly, not just occasionally, and over a sustained period. And to add some clarity then to what's meant here, is that one should not change the topic. If one, as we move through text, one hears different Dharma topics, and one thinks, oh, today I'll meditate on this, and tomorrow I'll meditate on that, and then the next day we meditate on something else. It's not that that's a fault to do, but that will hinder gaining an actual transformative realization of the topic. So to gain a transformative realization of a single topic, one needs to meditate on that single topic alone, and do so repeatedly over a sustained period until one attains a sign of realization, such as was mentioned earlier. So therefore, here I want to encourage you, when you engage in your meditation, to utilize the sequence of analytical meditation followed by placement meditation. So you cultivate both these qualities within yourself. And if you're striving for a particular realization, not to change your object of meditation. So in this case, in this context, that of how to rely on a teacher, the practice of Guru devotion, don't change that topic to a different topic until one attains some realization.
Lama Yuan Chimbo Tati Suyne Belia getting Chimboresum Dada Lama Jiki Yuan Shura Megan over Dine Sanyada Sheravena, the Chirazikur Majavachan, Jigimare Sherwada, Chesandi Garasi or Sene, the Jing of the Lama Kumbi Kabla, Lama Kyun Tobo, Lodi Namia, Kichu Mes and Bigi, Yen Digmaris and Sungure, Sundum Kiors, one dishi or that is Lamalia, Tonchon, Lama Demis, Lamalia, the Tonchon, Diada, Dizina, Lamalia, Kyun Tongure, Chesandi, Dinik, some Tagio Mare, Chesa, Lama Kanachina, Sosuke Lama Kanachine, Delia, Chike, Di Yagare, Di Duare, Sada, Di Chike, Tagare, Di Kyoare, some Dinik, some Tagio Mare, Chesa, Lamalia, Kyun Tobi, Kyun, some Tadi. Then
relating what we've been covering here to what we're looking at in the text. So what we've read here in the text thus far is saying to us that when we're meditating on the quality, we need to meditate on the qualities of our teacher, and we need to also meditate on that how things appear to our mind is not how they exist, and in this context, faults readily appear to our mind. So we should guard our mind from believing or following those faults, grasping at those faults as being correct, because that will lead us to looking down at our teacher or saying, oh, this teacher has this great quality and which is really fantastic, this other teacher of mine, they don't have that quality. And so in this way, we can see what we would end up seeing one teacher as being better than the other or kinder than the other, and this is a mistake. So the meditation that I've been describing, that relates to our text in this way.
Nor Junzi Jimba Laya, Drinche Sernes, and Lame City Tamjiki, the Ola Jawa Yins, and Dondala Carson Nangazuki, Midelia, Cedelia, Kala Road, Jala Road, the Nisi to Steven, all the Karapemia, all the getting chess, getting Chimbores and Lauduas, then Lauduas. Now, Dinashin didn't just chicken on the Java Robert, the Delegatin Laguina, and Lama said, you Sosolia. Cedelia Sosugi Payada, Sechimala Paya, Cediciniga Paya, Tabada, Tamji Kimbigi, Ya Dingi de Hotoyagi, and then Lam Dingors, and also Tablam Dingors. She's until the getting chess at Jiggy, Laguadi on a Inji Minji that Pemasi Kishimboras, Lague in the East, that Lague, then Jumse, she will eating Chiroasi.
Looking at the next paragraph. You feel that someone who gives you a little wealth is very kind, but a spiritual teacher can give you every goodness of this and future lives. So this, if we think about it, is really very true. If someone gives us something that we desire, even if it's not a value, just something tasty to eat, then we become very happy and think, oh, what a kind person. Especially if they often give us something tasty to eat. But if we compare that these desired gifts, or even if it's something that we do need, if we compare that to the great value of what our teacher gives us, our teacher giving us the path to freedom, the technique to attaining liberation from suffering, there really is no comparison in terms of value between what we get excited about in this world and what our teachers give us.
Lami sediji tamjege dewa la jarwa yin sedu chisan lami ngangzo liya ne garas kan lobdin nangor sene chisan lunga yusumgi ane shanle nyoba che yomare chisan denigi nyoba dige pha jige ma sunggu re sada anma jige ngangzo lunga yusumgi digba dige banggo sunggu re digba jige yomare sunggu ba chisan dene yenza lunga yusumgi ne lami kanawala dene ngangzo juge nyamnen che yodu lunga yusumgi shala nyoba majaba ina ane soso ine semlia digi yoa chida shanle ne digi chuptu gorwa shan kanga tige yomarwa chisan dene ne lamege ane soso ge ya shanle ya samla de kartang gorosene shanle ya pampe samla tangore ane jime shanle ya ane jikyowa da desule ro che gore se jimbe nyamne che gor sonyodu ane shanle ya pingo rangla pingo tsedel samdawe ne chisan denegi lamege duska nawa dile nga juge tsedel ya ane lushanle nyobeki nyoba sonyogu tsurimdiki song ane jimbe nyamle che ya na sebe nyamle che ya na dus che yondu ane tsechima ine digi jebo dela dine ane lada mi goba toya ane tsedele tsechima ine sosulya ane chigi tungendiki yago yongya ane luyu ombo tsangwa yongya ane dine yenza ane tsechima ine ya chwe nyamle che ya gobraya dine dus ine yane gyawa dida gyawa chimale pengore chisan dine ki tsedele ya dine ki chigi lami ki kanawa najin tsurimda parchin juge jimba tsurim suebyola soba nyamlen che 한 세심말에 된 두스 냠는 치어도 된 두스 무디저 되는 야 소수라는 게 녀모 바잔 탈바다 탈비고 방 톱투야 제 람려야 슈야 람 냠는 제바 탈비고 방 톱투야 되네 야 녀모 바디게 지 람이가 나와나지 되네게 잠니제 동요도 베셔라고 미어도 될라 되는 산요고 방 톱투고 그래서 제가 람이서 라마스에 베 마싱아tul야 진치모디네 깨든치모 인자 달 되네 깨든치모 인자 라말야 getting 장과디 뱀마시기 김센 첨부 휴세도 와서 getting 인지 민지 장과디 기에 첨부 휴차기도 와서 그러다.
So what is this term you have here? And the teacher can give you every goodness of this and future lives. So this then refers to the giving of the Buddha Dharma, and the giving of the Buddha Dharma does not just mean a mere sharing of knowledge, a mere giving of knowledge. What is being given is an understanding of what causes suffering and what causes happiness. And this leads to an understanding within the student's mind in terms of the mind of the rising in the student's mind of a commitment to refrain oneself from any activity that brings harm to others. Any activity that increases the burden of suffering and pain that others would experience. And this leads then to a mind of restraint, that through our physical behavior, we make the active commitment not to bring any harm to others. Through our way of speaking, we make the commitment to not bring any harm to others. And this comes about through the transformation of our mind, of guarding our mind to ensure it doesn't go in a direction that is wanting to, a mind of harmful intent or a mind of criticism towards others, a complaining mind towards others, but rather we refrain from such negative ways of behaving. And moreover, through the kindness of our teachers, we understand that whilst it's essential that we don't bring any harm to others through cultivating an ethical outlook, we need to, wherever we can, help others, bring benefit to others, ease their burden that each suffering being is carrying themselves, to help them through our physical behavior, through our way of speaking, and this will all come about through transforming our way of thinking. So this way, through our teacher giving the Dharma, we are trained in how to develop firstly the mind of ethics, as well as the minds of generosity and patience. And through receiving these teachings, being open and receptive to the guidance and spiritual development that is being imparted, and through following the advice that is being shared with us, we cultivate the causes that lead to happiness in this very life, for ourselves as well as those that we interact with, as well as creating the causes to ensure that in our future lives we have good rebirths. Rebirths as a human or God, rebirths with with abundance of required material conditions, healthy body, harmonious relationships with others. All the conditions that are required for a spiritual progression to continue from life to life. And moreover, through relying on our teacher, through receiving teachings, and doing so with an open and receptive manner, one not only develops minds that lead to good rebirths, but also develops the mental paths within one's continuum through training in the 6 perfections. The mental paths that lead to a complete liberation of suffering, a true freedom from samsara, as well as even the state of perfection, the state of enlightenment. So when thinking like that this is the gift that our teachers give us, this is the act of generosity that our teachers give us, acts of kindness and care from our teachers, when we relate that to what anyone in the world can do for us, we see there is no comparison. There is no comparison in the kindness and the generosity of one's teacher.
Kiwi Shinye, Lam Rim Text, Jasa Lam Rim Kundu, Kiwi Shin Tinsu, Nyamlin Chigui Sevete, that's some data they did it. Dina they can so did that Lamigi, ya getting Jahada, and Devachaya needed it, Devachayada, and Lama getting Jahada, Devachaya. Then Lama ya, Gun Tommy, some noti of Hasunyati, Disumdi, Geshe Chagorwada, so did it. Then Lamalia Gun Sungwe, the Gares Gun, you not Gun Tona, Lamala Gun do slap Chugro, didn't the Rawar of taking me to Sambe some Lungroda, or that the Gun and Major Rawam, Lamal Gun and Gun, you lap Chugmindus. Similar to the Yosigua.
To summarize, there are 3 key points in the meditation on relying on a spiritual teacher, or 3 key outcomes. The one outcome is to have a transformative appreciation for the kindness of one's spiritual teacher, secondly, a transformative experience of faith in and trust in one's teacher, and thirdly, to no longer be deceived by the appearance of faults in our teacher. So these are the 3 outcomes that one strives for in this practice. Now, just to say a little bit more on this practice of not seeing or not believing in the faults that appear to one's mind in relation to one's teacher. So it is possible that hearing this, people may think that one's freedom is being taken away, and that one may think this is a little strange. If one sees faults should be called out. They shouldn't be ignored, or one should just look the other way.
Nadi Gare Lama, Azulamigi, that Gun Roshan, Gun Tungrua, Anazolek, Anazaki, and the Chicks in your more to some Yovanza, Anazaki, and the Gun Toy Hungry. That Anazolia, Lamatigina, Mola, Dunja Sanjim Bayne, number thing Anzo Tamabanas, number of Dunche, Gun Yubi, number of Dunche, and Bendigo, Pigorva, Chesan Gun Toyaki, Yungure, the Yungorva.
The first point to make here is that we should not be surprised if we see the faults in the teacher, because we see faults in everyone. And the reason is the same. Our mind is pervaded by the afflictions, in particular the three poisons of attachment and anger and ignorance. So being pervaded by these, of course, we see faults in others. So we shouldn't think badly of ourselves for seeing the faults in our teacher, seeing faults in our teacher. that is the result of having a mind pervaded by these three poisons. So we need to remind ourselves that in essence, our teacher is a Buddha. But he can't appear to us in a form body of a Buddha, in a state that is very apparent as being a Buddha, because we could not perceive him as such, due to the strength of our afflicted minds. So therefore, due to our own limitations, he has to appear in a way that a limited being such as ourselves can perceive and can relate to.
Suzuki Gyunro, Lame Gyunro, Tone, Dalamala, Soso, Dini Gyunro, Nangudo, Dan, Sosuki, Mada, Suzuki, Yomotusi, Gyun Naware, Samje, and Denigi some down, Lamalet Gyun, Matan around in this now, around Nangores and Big, and Dusine, some Changures. Dan Lamigan, Chedam between Big, Chawaro, Lagara, Chichun, and Dine, Cares, and the Jehoyo Mares. 진짜 제화요 말했지만 최단 믿음 비게 안질라미게 같이 남아네 디 제화요 말했어 대상에 좀 더 내랑 순거래 디 제화요 말했지 다 되니기 데니스 라미기 최단 믿음 비게 내가지 그요도 어디 돈에 어디 알이 디라고도선 디 돈에 괜다나 안에 라말에 괜다요 말했지 되니기 최단 믿음 비게 내가를 그거나 내가디 지유 제화요 말했어 이내 디 돈에 어디 라마들 괜되니 도선 괜다요 말했지
When faults in one's teacher appears to one's mind, the way to skillfully deal with this is to remind ourselves that what is appearing to us is a mere reflection of our own afflictions. It's only due to the presence of these afflicted minds that we see faults, and due to the strong habituation with these afflicted minds, faults so readily appear. So that we need to remind ourselves of. And we remind ourselves then of the quality of our teacher, that in essence is a Buddha, but is having to appear in a way that we can relate to. And that will be an ordinary way, because that is all we can relate to due to the strength of our afflicted minds. Then a second point to make here is that how to respond when one's teacher gives us advice or instructions that are not in accordance with the Dharma. The Dharma, the actual refuge, this is what we should always follow. And in this context, the Buddha Shakyamuni himself said, we should be guided by the wisdom of the Dharma. And when our teacher gives us instructions that are not in accordance with the teachings of the Buddha, then we should rely on the teachings of the Buddha, on the Dharma itself. And we should not follow this advice. And there is certainly no fault in not doing so. But the way to respond is respectfully to decline, and with a mind that is uncritical, a mind that does not criticize one's teacher for giving such advice, one declines and doesn't follow the advice. This is the way to respond skillfully, and take that as a training, that one is being presented with the opportunity to show one's own correct understanding of the Dharma, and not to follow advice that is contrary to the Dharma.
Gyunju cheba ina, ngāzu lama dili gyunju chena, dili āna chigi lama gyundu, gyunju māngu chena dina ya chidi sosul ya nyomo duksum jeyongura, chas sosul di dipa rawa, dipa chakore. Ani di maase, lama dili gyunju māngu cheba ina, lama di zana yunde chu shugumar chela ya, lama gyundu sidanga, gyun tona chala ina da kala ina, gyundu tona dipa 빠야기 내나 자야기 덮치고 말도 니 랭해 덮치고 말디나 라마를 견주 제반 라마들을 최시고 말 최마셔나 소소신 말에 그래서 소소 용하라고 그래 그래서 가르 용이라고 라마들을 견주 아주 견주 나노도 견주 제반이나 아니 마음반 라마 디전에 연된 렌투고 말이 딩한소를 경체고래 지난 소수기 교인바 주의도 소수야 녀모도 숨야 숙체로 디디바체고래 지난 디교네고 지난 되는 인상 라미 야 교인 나와나 교인이 촌에 따야요 맞대교 말해지래 다 교인이 나와이나 어디 가란게 녀모도 숨은 있는 거라다 소리마다 있는 거래 삼지도 샤제 tel라미 연된 거네 따와이나 델리아 라마도 야고래 대바차 연된 따와이나 근데 라마들 디데서 취취양 취취야다 안 취취여도 양저 소소라랑기 마신바티 라마들 연된 장투 보레스 지상 라마를 교인마도도 소소리아 라마를 교인지게 삼로 몽불리고 말리도 디바사고 말레스 지상 소소리아 개변요레스 그렇다 라마를 교인 통바에는 교인지 나와이나 델레 교인마다와제 라마들 연den이 촌에 따와이나 안 소소리아 개변 이용고레스 그래서 디자의 연den 장투부래 한 소소리 개와사고레스 교인지 촌에 따와이나 소소리 경으라고 그래서 라마 디자네 최슈 말 연den 장투부 말에 안 소소리안 녀모도 숨 슈처치 존에 안 디바사고레지래
Generally in the world, if we say, oh, we shouldn't criticize others when we see faults in them, this may be considered strange. The reason, though, for saying it, especially in this context, is that when we see faults in our teacher and we believe in those faults, we believe that those faults are there in the way that they appear, and then if we are to criticize, then due to criticizing that, the motivating minds of doing such will grow ever stronger. In other words, our afflicted minds will grow stronger. And through engaging in thinking in this way and criticizing whether mentally or verbally, then one creates negative karma. And that prevents us then from seeing qualities in our teacher which limit us in our own spiritual development, because it closes us to being able to be impacted powerfully by the words of his teachings. To express this differently, if one does criticize one's teacher, two faults follow. One creates negative karma through the strengthening of one's afflicted minds, such as anger, attachment, and ignorance, those three root poisons, and thereby creates negative karma. And secondly, through emotionally becoming more distant from one's teacher, one's mind becomes closed towards him, harder. Your mind becomes harsh towards him, which means one is unlikely to be influenced by his teachings, influenced by his advice. One is much likely to be hearing teachings with a distracted mind or a negative mind, a critical mind. And therefore, one's mind stays closed to the words of the Dharma, stays closed to the potential to be guided in spiritual transformation. So that's the fault of criticizing. The benefits of not doing so is that through transforming our outlook, thinking that things do not exist in the way that they appear, and that they only appear in this way due to my own afflicted minds, and therefore I need to purify my own afflicted minds and cultivate ever stronger virtuous minds, this way of thinking is not only skillful, but it's virtuous, and therefore, instead of accumulating negative karma, one here is accumulating virtuous karma and strengthening our virtuous minds. So here there's a benefit that is completely contrary to the faults that would come from criticizing. And likewise, the second benefit that comes is also contrary to the second fault that would follow from criticizing. And that is, as one's faith and trust in one's teacher grows, one becomes ever more open and receptive to his teachings. And one's cultivation of a genuine way of relating to him as being a Buddha strengthens, making it much easier to integrate his teachings within ourselves. And our practice, our mental development, will be powered by this. So these are the faults as well as the benefits that come if one relates skillfully to one's teacher.
기진 템바이나 안에 아우즈레 가리공선에 아니 지게 라마리아까지 대바체여베이네 되네 라마 대바체 제베네 대바코롱 개바체거와 디 슈긴 돈에 대바가제 체베네 라마디자네 아니 최슈야레 돈여 슈체 이거래 지선 돈여 슈체 기 라메zel 최망아 슈라고 최망아 슈야라는 소소라양 라라레야 롭쇼다 곰냠네데 야가 두고로 지선 라미게 라마라가제 대바체 라미 켜나 디제쇼라는 까나나 람사이 고제야레야 거부치다 아니 지소소레 제헬 되바 침보다 거부용 거래든 우주 라미게 까나레신 지간도 냠는 지고 제나가 소속이 냠는 야기 두고 와 라말야 대바샤라 메나 라마시카나는 아다지 제지자다 제화야 말선 되네게 삼로디 제해게 되버도 숙침을 내두고 말 매반자 말레나 디시 지고 마제나 아주 야기 두고 말 제나 라말야 대바팀부 제거하다 라미 끄딘 침보 템바 이나 디기 소소를 계절 냠는 제알이야 아니 슈크체르고 뉴버체르고 그래 되네자 당하서 이나 들어와대 빈 제모로시네 칼라로시네 칼라들베 야구레선 직되버로 슈 제반 디자게 톱시 먹고 지기로 와대가나 야네야도 제모로시나 디 야구 슈 제모 야구 슈 소소 베 제모들라 가고 슈 지기는 디제알이야 그 차로 잡나래 차오이나래 깔레기니 메바지 제게 되버로 지기로 와 되버시라면 안지 되면은 델야는 오토라디 지로체 밀라지테 걸음나 아데가 지금 멜라기로와 제사디 용마로와 어디나신 레가로 가리나 소술야 델레 되버 침부지는 디제 되발리기도 디나지 기위 신년 데바다 90 침부슈 같이 숙체여나 소설야 라미게 까두야 라미게 까나야 될 냠내시 숙체제도 거래 되네 가지 숙체제는 소수기 뇽몽바마 총을다야나 개위 초디 야 숙체를 누버체로에 핑거와 되네 인자 라말야 대바 장고를 해서 김자로 뒤로와
And we mentioned earlier in the 5 steps of meditation, there were other points there, such as reflecting on the good qualities of one's teacher, in terms of his physical activities, verbal activities, and his mental qualities, as well as the great kindness that our teacher shows us and others. So the purpose for those 2 points of the meditation were to lead to a cultivation of faith within ourselves, faith in our teacher. So why is faith so important? Well, one reason is that the mind of faith is a virtuous mind. The stronger it is, the more virtue it creates. The stronger the mind of faith within us, the more virtue that mind creates. But where it's of particular importance in this context is when we have faith in our teacher, we will feel close to him. We will feel emotionally close to him, mentally close to him. And we'll be feeling close to him is important because it will mean, firstly, we will want to receive teachings, and secondly, we will want to apply those teachings in our lives. We will want to follow those teachings. We will want to put them into action. So if one has strong faith in one's teacher, when one has the opportunity to receive teachings, joy will arise in one's mind. During the teachings, joy will arise in one's mind. In particular, when one receives meditation advice, and then afterwards, one will want to put that into practice. And from this, transformation is certain. If one doesn't have faith, one may still regularly meet that teacher or receive teachings from that teacher or read their books, but without faith, well, the Dharma will seem very nice, the teaching is very nice, but one is less likely to take it as personal advice for oneself. In other words, the impact that it has on one's mind is that much less. In fact, it would be like as if the teaching bounced off oneself. It wouldn't seem so relevant. It wouldn't seem as an individual instruction for oneself, but rather just general guidance. And that is the fault of lacking faith. We can see this in everyday life. If one has a great joy in a particular sport, so if one plays a sport or a particular type of exercise, for example, that one really enjoys, no matter what weather or time of day, one will make sure one engages in that sport or that exercise because one enjoys it. It's seen as pleasurable. If one doesn't like it, then no matter what inducements are offered, no matter how much money one is offered, one will not play. One has no desire. So that's similar to our situation here. If one has strong faith in the teacher, one has respect for the teacher, one will want to receive teachings, one will receive those teachings as being guidance for oneself. And through this open attitude and this feeling of closeness, one will overcome obstacles that otherwise would defeat one, obstacles such as laziness, as distraction. One will really prioritize with ease one's life so as to have the time to meditate, have the time to read the teachings again, and to make sure that one lives one's life in accordance with those teachings.
언디기 가서 삼다에 대지 슈바나지레 당어서 슈하네 야 라체네 소소기 강반할자 직상모를 쇠거나 쇠야 되네야 근데 쳐바디게 부야 당윤자 부야 부여로 부야 부 되는 부에서는 소소나 댕가를 되제네 지게 내 군어디게 봐 지하고 되제 군어 삼다 군어 겸르심게레제 심 겸르심제게 안디네 안데 지게 소셔로 사답 되네 지게 단 사답다래 단음이 아주 돼 뒤리야 소소쿠 쿠바다 소신의 유예섬 좀 해봐 제제 안될야 아주게 최고부야다 안지게 자산 디버샤 차차부야 되는 차로지 되는 야지 최 만제부야 만 당보 차부 되는 마되지야 만제부 되는 만제부 산에 되는 지게 야 아니 디버샤야 되게 소소라는 게 디버샤야 되네 님뭐 없이 삼다제 디버카 샤야 돈달라 소수게다 곰카리 잡네데 미치긴 마로 사와네 가장만에 뒤에 안디젤리안 제 상계다 자주sem바 셴심제 다랑기 소소 개와사시베 개와차산레 개와치소 배야보레스 제수 일하셔야래 안디네 제네 아니 지게 산 냥알미데와 소초고 추규 콜로고도 소야데 직제로 돼야다 되네 냥알미다 소와데 사데 직제되야로 여러와 되네 삼다 안디네 저게 지셀야 기위신용 거를 삼다이 고미야데 딩원로시 다 기위신용문에 차야도 고미야리야도 다 저게 기위신이 되게 템피게 편여다 마템비 님이 삼다 도세 때네 편여되네 도 여러선 마템바이는 용되네 라기도 삼비게 되네 기체바체 안데네 안 라말레 꽌 통에 삼모세데 균이 기주메 세베 라말레 꽌로 통성바이네 나성바이네 델레 꽌 도네 야 따기메 삼아야 안두시네 삼다 데네 라미 구송 토수 연된 전제 라말야 대바찬 대발레 제주도 우자제 델레야 항상 곰nhập 띵에세 제주네 곰야게 곰 데네야 라미 라마 소설레 진침보레스 게딘 침보 삼다지 게딘 김젠티게 삼다지 데네기 라미 게딘 제제 델레야 아직 제치도 삼다도스콤 어두스네 직쇼에 되네치콤 되는 마잠자로지데다 개와디 양오와잡 되는 아주 직 레가조가 나가거나 제반나제 되네 아직 다 공다로시 아주 소소 뒤주주나 한 공다디와 아 대신 나신지네 직 거라시갑도스콤 어두세베나 아주 니네니네리아 람림 고미야게 고르고 되네 제기도 난시 신인데 조금 수디 디차고래 어디는 시리 당하죠.
So this brings us now to the end of our time together tonight. So just to briefly summarize what we spoke about. So the meditation, to summarize what we spoke about today by repeating the meditation. So wake up in the morning and engage in the preliminaries. So we looked at those in some detail some months ago. And we start with cleaning our place of meditation, arranging our shrine, setting up the offerings, as well as our meditation seat or cushion, and cultivating the motivation of refuge and bodhicitta, followed by generating the visualization of a merit field. And then we continue with the preliminaries of making offerings. So we will have some set up on our shrine. We may also then offer a mandala. And then engage in the confession practice. And that should be done with the 4 opponent powers, and the opponent power of the antidote, just to remind that this can be any virtuous activity, so it could be a mantra of a deity that one feels some affinity with, or a analytical meditation, or any other virtuous activity serves as the opponent power of the antidote. Then one rejoices in the virtue that one has accumulated, that all the great beings have accumulated and are accumulating, as well as that of ordinary beings. Then one continues with this, because we're going through the 7 limb prayer here, one continues with the request that the one's lamas continue to teach the Dharma, and that all beings come under the care of one's of the lamas and receive teachings. Request that they remain in this world until all beings have attained enlightenment, and then one comes to dedicate. So that's the preliminary to this meditation, and the preliminary to all the meditations of the Lam Rim. So now one comes to the actual meditation. So now it's the meditation on relying on a teacher. So here we go through the 5 steps that were mentioned earlier. First, meditating on the great benefits that come from relying skillfully on a teacher, and the loss that comes from not doing so. One then, secondly, so that is an analytical meditation. And when a feeling arises for the great benefits that will come from relying on a teacher, hold that single-pointedly. And then one can either, when one loses that meditation, one can either repeat that first step or go on to the second step, which was to remind oneself that phenomena do not exist in the way that they appear to one's mind. And that faults in our teacher, just like others, readily appear. But this is due to the dominance, our strong habituation to the afflictions. And therefore, not to be deceived by these appearances, not to be deceived by believing that phenomena exist in the way that they appear. When a feeling for this arises within oneself, hold that single-pointedly. Then the third step of the meditation was to reflect on the many good qualities of one's teacher, whether the qualities of ethical conduct, wisdom, concentration, the qualities of that come from his physical behavior, his speech, and his mind. When a feeling for that arises, from that analytical meditation, hold that single-pointedly. The fourth step was to reflect on the kindness, and having reflected on the kindness of one's teacher, then one there has an opportunity to hold that single-pointedly. Through all these 4 steps of analytical meditation, if one also combines it with placement meditation, one is strengthening one's concentration. And thereby, these 2 are developed sequentially. And then the 5th step of the meditation was that to dedicate. To dedicate that may all beings be cared for by kind and holy lamas, and attain quickly, or cultivate quickly, the mind of enlightenment within themselves through the guidance of these kind and holy lamas. And thereafter, one's morning meditation, one engages in one's many activities for the day, and whenever one can, take a moment or 2 just to remind oneself of one's meditation, just to generate those thoughts in one's mind, and thereby strengthen one's familiarity. And depending on one's circumstances, if one can at night repeat that meditation, that would be fantastic. If one doesn't have such an opportunity, then that's fine. One can hold the aspiration to have such opportunities in the future. And then the next morning when one arises, one engages in this meditation. And in this way, we can be sure that transformation will quickly come.